Greetings all, and welcome back to No Stash Nomad, a Path of Exile series and self-imposed challenge where I try to beat the game and all the Ubers without using a stash tab. We return, still in yellow maps, kind of pushing red maps, and I'm still using the same currency making strategy of blasting expeditions with sentinels. We're still farming our logbooks until we hit T14 maps, where we'll start to bulk sell them. I noticed that one piece of gear that could be upgraded for damage was our ring, so I found one with an open prefix to craft and damage over time multi. How I've decided to work with deaths in this challenge is that the number of deaths that I have in total will determine how many stacks of items I have to drop. I control what items I get to drop, but if this number racks up too high, you can see how I may just lose an entire inventory. Though playing DD may make this risk a little bit lower. Expedition as a mechanic is quite powerful, and combined with Sentinel is one of the best money makers because you increase the quantity of items dropped of the expedition monsters, which also increases their chance to drop reroll currencies and of course logbooks. I decided to craft my ring using 2 harvest crafts that I had gotten myself. First roll was not so great, but the second roll, well, let's just say it's a little unethical. I decided to buy a Polite Devastation for damage, and this will be an endgame ring we use. I also decided to get better boots with evasion so I could take the mastery skill that gives us 10% spell suppression. I felt that I needed to get some better craft mods on my helmet, so I went and bought some essences in order to find lightning res and some other desirable mods. Eventually though, I had to settle with something that didn't have much life, but filled a lot of the reses I needed. I also went and bought a defensive Watcher's Eye that kind of helped me cap suppression. One thing with Harvest is that it has a lot of crafts that can be easy currency if you just choose them. One of these is the Offerings to the Goddess crafts, which can result in Gifts to the Goddess, which are worth approximately 80 to 90 C each. After making some more currency, I decided to go and upgrade my chest piece because I needed stats as well as some better spell suppression. I also went and got a better damage amulet, which also had life NDS. After getting these upgrades, my spell suppression was now capped, and I could go and push T14 maps. The damage is still notably lacking in the build, but this is something we can scale up later. There are some really expensive options as well that I plan on making use of. And these options will probably take a while to farm, but it will definitely be worth it in the end. I felt like it was time to take on our first T16 map, get that favored map slot, and finally start farming for those Guardian maps. One thing to note is that Vol Detonate Dead is an incredibly powerful tool to use for bossing, and you should save it for the map bosses whenever you can if you are playing this build. Next, it was time to fight the Eater of Worlds. Not Uber, just normal, to get our Voidstone and our point. It should be worth noting that this fight took a little longer than I'd like to admit, but we got him down deathless. I went ahead and bought a better belt, which will most likely serve as our endgame belt. I've noticed now that it is going to take a little bit to get all the maps that I need in order to witness the invitations. I could buy these, but at the same time, it lines up better to farm these myself while I make currency for upgrades to the character. That way I can kind of kill two birds with one stone instead of just buying the invitations or maps, having no currency to upgrade my character, and possibly dying and losing even more. Harvest as a mechanic is very strong, especially if you are willing to use TFT. The crafts, as of now, sell for quite a bit. Reforged key suffix and prefixes usually go for 1x, and they're also just good for crafting items yourself if you need specific stats or reses. I decided to start opening my stack decks as I felt it was less efficient to hold on to them. This is because I could hold on to one singular card that was worth an X or above, or at least close to one, instead of holding on to multiple stacks that was worth at most 40 to 60 C before I ran out of space. Finally got enough logbooks to sell for a whole X. Again, due to inventory space constraints, I tend to have to wait to get enough logbooks to bulk sell for 1x. I decided it was time to buy a better shield and caught this amazing deal. After using it for a while, I decided it was time to do a little bit of gamble crafting. I had decent chances to hit non-curse aura effect, ailment effect, or minimum frenzy. But, of course, we hit a void fizz, which is not bad, but not as good as it could have been. But until next time, ciao.